What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Schmoedown. I'm former Star Wars champion Andrew and Nicki Dimalanta.
And I'm Star Wars competitor Nicki Dimalanta.
No, nothing really to talk about match-wise, because I thought they were going to drop a...
Yeah, I didn't see one drop.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what the schedule is. I thought that there was supposed to be an exhibition match every Friday or something, or at least every week, but I didn't see one. The most recent match I see on that Archives channel is the Dan and Mara exhibition match. Mm-hmm. I'll check again.
Maybe the main channel? Well, the main channel isn't a thing anymore.
That's one thing that I don't understand is why there's so many different channels.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of everything.
One thing I don't understand, was the original channel just renamed to be the Archive? Is that what it is?
No, it's a completely new channel.
Is it?
I believe so. I don't know. There's like so many. That's one thing. That is one thing. It's like, why he has a Kirsten Harloff channel and he's got a Big Thing Clips channel. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's just things I don't understand. I'm sure there's Rhyme and Reason.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. Because, like, I know all the videos were on, like, the Schmoedown channel, and then it was like, oh, now everything's being uploaded to the Archive channel. Like, why? It's already here. I don't understand. Unless maybe it just got renamed and I just wasn't paying attention. I don't know. It does make sense to me, but like I said, I'm sure that there's a reason why.
I think because he had his own channel apart from the Schmoedown channel.
And there was the SEN.
Yeah. And then, I don't know. It's changed.
A lot to keep track of, I feel.
Yeah, it's changed so many times because it used to be the Schmoedown Entertainment Network.
Right.
That had all the stuff on it, but now there's several different, I don't know. Anyways.
Well, I looked on the Archives channel because that's where they said that everything was going to be and I guess be uploaded. And that's where I looked. And the last thing I see is Dan versus Mara. So if there's a match somewhere else, I don't know, tell me or whatever because I don't see anything. But yeah, so since there's no matches.
We just talk about the Spectacular card.
Sure.
Because last week we talked about the 2 off matches with the teams match of who's the boss versus the ruling class, and then what I dubbed the legacy match with Mara and Rachel. So Marisol, Rachel. But we will be talking about Mara in this episode.
Yeah. Because
I think we'll touch on the specialty division title matches.
Yes.
So I think we should just talk about Star Wars first because, there's not, like I said before, like... Okay,
I see what
you
you're
know
saying.
what I mean? Because, like...
The preamble, there's going to be much more to talk about after the fact, not, like, leading up, because it's like, it's us.
Yeah.
So...
Because there's a whole lot more to talk about with this 4-way, with the IG title.
Yeah.
So, let's go ahead and touch on the Star Wars match coming up between... who's in the Star Wars match?
I don't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah. My brain has been on cruise control ever since we taped the match, because it's kind of like, because I said I'm saying it everywhere, like, because we're getting invitations to like, hey, let's do like this fun Star Wars trivia thing. I'm like,
yeah.
No, I mean, I do, but I don't.
It's not that I don't. You seem to be a bit more like than me. I'm like, I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'm just not going to study.
I'm going to do it for fun, but it's like I said, I was like, I want to be done with trivia. I don't feel that way about it. Yeah,
I worked so goddamn hard. I might as well say these stupid ass words in front of people. So if you're gonna give me another avenue to do that,
sure. It's fun.
I worked so hard to get all this stuff in my brain, and there's so much that was never able to get out. So yeah, if you want me to say stuff that is Star Wars words, let me know.
Yeah.
My only concern is that I'm just so competitive that. I don't want to go in unprepared, but I also don't want to study.
And that's why I don't want to do it, because like I spent
and they'll be like, oh wow, see, they actually suck.
And that's why I don't want to do it. I spent the last 4 years in that mindset.
Yeah.
And it's taken away from so many other things, like my creative muscles and all these other things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And it's just taken up so much of my time. I was like, that part of my journey is done. It's on to things that I've been wanting to do for years.
Different story for me there, fam. I would like to say these words to people. There's so many words that I have studied and rammed into my brain and that I have not been asked about.
And that's not to say that we won't ever say that stuff again, because we've toyed around with revealing stuff on other mediums and other platforms.
But it's more fun when somebody asks you and you have the answer. than to be like, hey, I know this thing.
Yeah, because then people were like, oh yeah, sure, you knew that thing.
Oh, sure, you just looked it up, dummy.
Yeah.
Like, no, I promise you that I absolutely worked myself into the ground.
Yeah.
At the risk of my own mental health to get all these words into my head. So I'd like to say them in some way or another.
I mean, we might as well reveal what we want to do with our notes anyways, right?
If you want to,
we can do it now because there's no, because like we always played the game so close to the chest, not revealing anything study tactic wise and notes wise, but
not
like
that there's any like big revolutionary thing we did.
Yeah, but like we'd always like, because there's, you know, like Adam Witt did this a lot on Twitter. Laura Kelly did it a couple times on Twitter.
We don't have to call people out.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
No, but you know, they'd flex on Twitter like, look at this. And then we immediately see it like, why? No, don't do that.
Yeah, the one that made me go, wait, was I think we've mentioned this before, was the thing at Celebration when Adam made his video about recruiting Hoey to the fan favorites. And he was like, oh, what's the name of the... You know, the skull the skull that they threw at the fucking... Oh, sorry. I said a bad word.
Whatever. Nobody cares anymore.
Are you going to bleep it out?
No. Fuck it. I don't care.
Okay. Here we go.
Again, yeah.
Spoiler, not spoiler. Warning. Christian, if you're still watching this, which I doubt you are, but if your kiddos are around, we just said bad words.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he was like, oh, this the skull that he threw at the Switch. What was the name of the guy whose skull that used to be? And he was like, Bit Little Quirk. I'm like, mother fuck, we
met. Yeah, that was one of those deep cuts that I like, ooh, that's interesting. And it never came up.
Never.
Until he revealed it. It's like,
and it was questions like that we were like, why would I? Because we went on a couple shows from time to time that they were like, what's the craziest thing that you think you know? And the ironic part is that whatever the craziest thing, because you ask, I would wager a lot of money that if you ask any competitor, they have at least one, not even one, probably a handful of things. They're like, oh man, this is my ace in the hole right here. Like this is
the one thing that I almost guarantee nobody else knows.
Irony is that anything that we have dug up that makes us say that is probably so dumb that it would never come up in a match.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I would love to know if the question writers even encountered the name Bidlo Corv.
Or how they would come about it. Yeah.
Well, that question could be said about some of the other things that were asked.
Yeah.
Why you asked about that. Bidlo Corv, while very obscure and stupid, I would, if I was a question writer, I would consider that to be relevant, more relevant than
a couple of best
we'll
get to a couple of those later.
But yeah, no, we would go on shows and be like, oh, what's the craziest thing you know? And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm not gonna tell you that.
Yeah.
Like, what if in the minuscule, minute chance I say something, and then it comes up in either somebody else's match or, heaven forbid, my match for the other person, and maybe they didn't know it, or they're like, oh right, I forgot about that. Because there are some things that we would study a lot, but if you took a break for more than a couple weeks, there were some things that it was like, oh no, I know that. I just haven't said it in a while.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you read it or hear it, you're like, oh, right. Okay, now it's back.
Yeah.
But, you know, you don't want to remind people of something, or you don't want to give them a piece of information they might not have had. Like, yeah, I remember somebody at one point tweeted about like the different, like way early on when Rise of Skywalker first came out.
Oh yeah, the different locations.
The different locations they light speed skip to at the beginning. And I was like, oh yeah, that is something that should be like, and I remember like really delving into those things and like reading all about them and trying to figure out everything about those locations. And granted, we would have known the names of the locations, but would I have ever deep dived them the way I did? Had that person not, I'm like, okay, well, that person's aware of it. I better make sure I'm double aware of it.
Know more about it than you would think you would need to know about it.
So like anytime somebody would say something on social media or on a show, it would be like, no. But it also was kind of good because it would give you insight into what they're looking at maybe. But we didn't like to do that.
Because we didn't want to give anybody insider information and like,
just
what we know.
Just in case it ever came up.
So, but now that it's over, it's like no use.
Like, who cares?
Who cares? Knows what we know. But like, I know that what part of what we want to do is like do like a bit on going rogue. Like, hey, here's a stupid thing that we knew. Yeah. And why go into depth like why we knew it, what brought us to it, what led us to it, and you know what other fun facts about this thing or that person or this location. Yeah. Having a bit of fun thing, but like, very soon I want to start doing that for TikTok and just just divulge all my notes.
Yeah.
Like not all the notes, but like the really ridiculous things that, like bid low quarters was probably the first one I was going to do. But now that
that was a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. But like stuff like that, I want to start doing for like a TikTok segment, like maybe twice a week. I'll just like, hey, I used to compete in this movie trivia show. Here's something that was in my notes. So
yeah. And I also think it would be a lot of fun to have a podcast or a stream or whatever where we get with some other Star Wars competitors and we ask people like, what are some things that you wish would have been asked but never were? What's the thing that you always wanted to be able to say in a match in a big 5-pointer situation? Yeah. What's that one nugget that you've been hanging on to that just never came up? Because we've all got them.
Oh, yeah.
We've got loads of them. So many that never came up. But thank God I've answered questions about Snips like 3 times by now. Thank God I've answered Snips and Sky Guy questions like 3 or so times. Yeah. But we didn't ask about Bidlow Corp. So, but yeah, there's just so many things that never came up that, like I said, I worked my ass off to get them into my head. Why would I need to know all 4 members of the Shag Kava band and their full names and who plays them and what their species are if they're not human? But it's all in my head. God knows how much longer it'll be there with me not having to actually use it.
I don't know about you, but since our last match, a lot of like the deep stuff is gone. It's just out of my head now. I have to if one of those were to come up, I would have to go back to my notes like, oh yeah, that's who it is. And like I said, once you say it out loud, it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Then all the other stuff we have just comes pouring out of my brain. It's like, oh yeah, this person played them. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so. Sometimes you just need one little hint and then everything just comes rushing out. Yeah. I think that if I went back to, because we used Quizlet.
Yes.
Like almost exclusively. And I think if I went back to my decks, because we structured our decks differently, but we still shared.
We shared an account, but we...
You had your decks, I had mine. Sometimes we look at each other's decks, whatever, but like mine were more structured by movie, yours were more structured by category, but we still were able to cross-reference between each other's. I think that if I went through all 12 movie decks, I think I would get at least a 95% or above still.
Yeah, I think we'd be above like average.
Well, yeah. Yeah. And it's not like it was that long ago. Yeah. But
we'll see in a year.
That would be fun.
Ooh, yeah, that would be fun.
A year from now, go through our cards and see how well we do.
Yeah, that'd be funny. That'd be a fun going rogue.
Ooh, that'd be a lot of fun. Oh, that would be a good way to scratch the Schmoedown trivia itch.
Yeah. I like that idea. So mark it. A year from now, we're going to go on going rogue. And
next summer or maybe next October 1st, we'll do a thing where we...
look back on our notes and see how well we do.
Do you want to do like an Iron Man style where we just go through each other's decks? Or do you want to actually have like a structured match?
We'd have to have somebody else in on it.
Where we play against each other?
Yeah.
A rematch?
Like a rematch from this year's Spectacular, see how well we do.
Well, fun fact, this is not the first time we played each other. We have played scrimmages against each other, practice matches that Bibiani wrote most of the time. I had one practice match that Sam and Rachel wrote against Marie, and then you and I played
3 times.
2 or 3 times behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So this is not the first time we played, but officially on the books.
Officially on the books, we've played each other
so
once.
Maybe a year from now, we'll put the belt back up. And
I like that idea. No studying. Studying or no studying? And we'll get like PJ and PLD in on it.
If they're even watching still.
They
might have fallen off. I don't know.
I would like to do that. We'll mark it from like maybe next year.
How much fun would that be?
Next year leading into Celebration. We'll have a Star Wars reunion title rematch,
and maybe PJ and PLD could throw in questions they had left over and stuff.
Yes, I love this idea.
Okay, but no, it's not fair. I do need to study more than you do. Star Wars is in your blood. You were born into the Star Wars.
Like I said,
assumed it.
Like I said, like there are some things that I will never leave. Like, I don't want to talk about too much about strengths and weaknesses until we get into Spectacular match. Sure. But like there are things that will never, like you said, they'll never leave my brain because I grew up with it.
Exactly.
But then there are other things that I would never know because the only reason I know it is because of studying for the Schmoedown.
Yeah.
So, and there are things that you have learned that just for some reason would never stick in my head unless I said it like a million times.
Which I did.
Yeah.
You know, if there ever was a Star Wars teams, I think you and I would be pretty. I think we'd crush pretty good.
I think we would crush it.
If I do say so myself.
Yeah. But I do like this idea.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
This idea of a title, unofficial title rematch.
Yeah.
Dimalanta Civil War 2.
That'd be a lot of fun.
I think I would like that. And we
should definitely do that.
Yes, I like that. And
idea. We could, could we do buzzers or would we have to do Fast Money? We could kind of do buzzers.
We could do buzzers.
Because they would be able to see us. They would be able to see us. Because we went out, there was like 2 iterations of the buzzers, and this guy went out and actually bought the one that they always
used.
Yeah,
but then they changed it because of the new studio.
Yeah, so
it wasn't 100% different. It was just a different looking button.
I mean, buzzers are buzzers. It's just a button you press and it buzzes. But like,
I like this idea.
We do have a set of buzzers that were like the ones they used to use in the previous studio. So we could, and then we would just have to have the reset button in the middle. That in between questions we would reset the. Yeah,
it'll sit right here, and then we can put it. I like this idea.
This is fun.
I like this idea.
We should definitely do this. Ooh. Ooh. That sounds like fun. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Put in the books. We'll say minimal studying.
I need to study. Let me just say I will study. Maybe I'll do 50% capacity.
Okay.
What percent capacity do you say you were going into the spectacular match? Preparation wise. Study effort.
Let's go ahead and get into the title. We'll save all that for when
we got so much to talk about. Oh my God.
But like we're gonna. I say we'll talk about this match leading into Spectacular first because it from the beginning of the season almost we already knew what the title path looked like for loosely, but
things change here and there, but yes.
Yeah, but like at the very beginning of the season, it was basically I knew my next match was a number 1 contender match.
Right, and it was probably going to be against Gold Leader.
Yeah, it was just a matter of who was I going to face because before for spoiler like there's no reason behind it anymore, but like the biggest reason why I said at the last year's tournament was because I was just tired. I was absolutely mentally exhausted. I needed a break from all the studying because I was so ramped up, and then
I didn't realize how unhealthy it was until we stopped.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it was so freeing when I stopped. But another reason why I sat out of the tournament because after I lost to Thomas, Karloff called me up and he's like, "Oh yeah, hey, well, no, good match. You gave it all you got. It sucks to lose." Blah blah.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice if things didn't happen behind this. Okay.
No, but every time I'd lose, Harloff would call me and like, "Hey man, you gave your all. Thanks for dedicating so much to the division. You've done so much. I just want to check in on you because I know how much it meant to you." But then for this one was different because he'd withheld some information from me before the match because he said he was going to give me this information before the match, but he didn't want to get into my head.
Oh, okay.
He said, "Here's the deal. You can go into the tournament and try to make your way through 3 matches to get back to the tournament, or you can sit it out. You can let Eric step in for you because Eric Whiteley was on the Faction Time. Or since you defended twice, you would get your path to the title is shorter, and you can go into a number 1 contender match for your very next match." And I was like,
I mean, it was a pretty easy.
It was a pretty easy decision, but like immediately after the match, I was like, let me sit on it. But then I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I wanna break. So it wasn't the fact that it wasn't that information that said, yeah, I'm gonna sit out the tournament because I want to be shorter path. The biggest reason was because I was tired.
Yeah.
That was just like a cherry on top. I was like, okay, so when I come back, I can just get 1 match and boom, back to the title. So we knew right off the bat coming in the next season, I was gonna go into a number 1 contender match. It's just a matter of, do I face Gold Leader or you? Because those are the 2 names bouncing around.
I think it made more sense for it to be Gold Leader.
Yeah, because we were going like, I mean, it makes sense for Gold Leader, but also you only have 1 loss to your name, and ranking wise, you're the last one to compete for the title. But
based on history, it made more sense for it to be Gold Leader.
Yeah, it made sense for it to be Gold Leader. Then I remember you were your path was shorter because I think you had 1 match and then number 1 contender match. I think that's what it was like at the beginning.
I don't know if it was ever set in stone, but yeah.
But then things changed because we were he was trying to get matches at Spectacular. Couldn't get the things because
Collision.
Oh, Celebration. Sorry. Wow.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because the whole Celebration thing, because it was supposed to be a fatal 5-way between
at Star Wars
Celebration. He was trying to get 2 two panels, one for the number one contender match and one for the title match.
Right.
Because at the time it was supposed to be a fatal 5-way between us, the Damons, and Gold Leader.
That would have been wild.
That would have been crazy, and I wasn't a huge fan of it because it's like, what, like. So my number one contender match is between 4 other people.
Yeah, I wasn't too crazy about
that idea, but regardless, it didn't pan out that way because he couldn't get the panels. Because it was supposed to be that, and then the very next...
They seem to really crack down on panels.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a 5-way. The winner of that goes against Thomas the very next day in another panel for the title. Didn't pan out that way because he didn't get the tables.
Right.
So then that happens. That doesn't happen. But then we get news of, we get put behind the paywall and yada, yada, yada. But then the biggest piece of news drops that Thomas is just, he's done for the season. He relinquishes the belt, and then it becomes
much different conversation.
I think me and Evan have already
you guys kind of remain unchanged.
Yeah.
It just became a matter of, well, the winner of your match, now who's the winner of your match going to face?
Yeah. So because I think after the panel thing didn't shape out, they put everything. It's like, all right, so they're still gonna be digital. I think me and Gold Leader had filmed our match before Celebration, so we both knew that.
Well, and also remember at one point, I forget the timeline wise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't remember if we heard from Thomas that he was stepping back before we heard about not getting the panels. But remember at one point they almost were, it almost kind of sounded like they were trying to get you and Gold Leader to play impromptu at Celebration.
So I think,
or right before Celebration.
No, so I think what happened was like before Celebration, before they didn't get the tables or the panels. So then it's like, all right, so then they really decided about, okay, so it's going to be me and Gold Leader, winner faces Thomas. And they try to get it done while we were all out there.
Right.
But then for whatever reason, we're all, I think we were all in agreement. It's like, oh, that's a lot to ask of all of us, especially me and Evan, all three of us.
All three of you.
All three of us flying across the country.
8-hour flight. 6-hour flight.
6-hour flights, and bump off, go immediately to a number one contender match. And then I think immediately after that, a title match.
You're tired. You're jet lagged.
You're jet lagged, and we're all, and like, I think we all collectively agree. It's like, oh man, that's a lot.
Not really feeling it.
Not really feeling it. And I also think they just couldn't get it logistically because like all three of us coming in and like,
yeah, like when do you get in?
When do we get in, and who, like what days or who's there? I know like we got in the day before. I knew Thomas probably got in the day of, and it's like, it's just a lot to like shuffle in. It didn't happen. But,
obviously.
So, but also I think that was like a month or two before Celebration.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's like, all right, so that's not happening. So then we decided, all right, we'll just shoot them all digital. Like they decided we'll shoot them all digitally. I think this is around the time when they decided to put everything behind the Patreon wall.
Wow, so popular.
Sorry. But then I think shortly after that, Thomas decides to retire.
I think that's how the timeline went.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a DM like, hey guys.
Yeah. I think
we're like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think me and Evan's match had already been put on the books and it had already been scheduled. And then shortly before,
not played, just on the books.
Just not played, is on the books. All right. So the winner goes against Thomas. And then Thomas decides to step away. And it's like, all right, what happens to our match? And then they decide, okay, you guys are still number one contender match. Because we thought me and Evan both, or Gold Leader both thought, so this will be just a title match. Is this going to become a title match now? And it's like, nope. So they decide still number one contender match, and then they make your match against Ace a number one contender match because you guys were going to play anyways.
I guess.
And it's like, you know what? Make it a number one contender match.
Maybe.
So then we film ours before Celebration. You film yours after Celebration.
Yeah.
A little bit like a week or two after. So
like a month after.
Yeah. The timeline behind us getting to each other was like,
there was so much that happened in the span of a month.
And you like, and this is what I always say to people, like when they're reviewing the cards of Spectacular, it's like,
why didn't we do this? Why did we do that, man?
Just look at what I just panned out for you.
And so many
right
things,
here
over the course of like a month and a half, so many things changed.
Yeah.
So matches were proposed and kind of fell through and this and that and various reasons. So yeah, I mean, you're always going to get the people that are just, couch managing, like, why didn't they do this? Why isn't this person playing? Why does this person get to do this?
Because, like,
do you really want to know everything that happens behind the scenes?
Yeah,
Because there's probably a reason.
It was hard getting these matches, and these were digital matches. These weren't in-person studio matches. It's like, when we're all on the East Coast, and well, except for Ace, but like just lining all these schedules up from doing matches from our own homes was hard. Yeah. So
even just that.
Yeah, because we all work 100% of the time. We can't just dedicate like, hey, here you go. Even though when I first started, I was willing to drop things and did to compete. But like it was hard getting these matches together. But like this was the one match the one title match aspect that we knew was leading. So it had a clear path. It had clear. We didn't have to like, well, this person's ranking. We'll try to, you know what I mean? Like trying to juggle so many things. It had already, but the fact that this was supposed to be a collision match, right? It just happened like, oh well. Circumstances will just push it to Spectacular. Yeah. So, which I'm glad they did because I finally got to compete at Spectacular.
Yeah. In person too.
Yeah, in person.
Less. But yeah. This was an interesting year for Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And yeah, leading up to this match, and I'm pretty sure, I know we've already touched on this, but yeah, it was the feel of going into this match was
different.
The same, but different. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. Like I was definitely still nervous. Were you nervous?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the closer, like at first, it's like, oh, well, after you beat Ace, it's like, all right, cool. We can relax a bit. And
well, yeah. Because that's the thing. If things hadn't changed, and if you had, beaten Gold Leader, and then you were going against Thomas, say that he stayed in the game, and then the news came that it was ending, and it just became you versus him at Spectacular. The lead up would have been much different.
I've been pulling my hair out.
We would have been.
I would have been insufferable.
Mad people.
I would have been insufferable to be around because I'd be like just like constantly. I wouldn't like my TikTok page wouldn't be a thing
because that's pretty much how we were at the beginning of the year. Yeah. Before we knew anything that was changing, that we were like, okay, this is the friggin' year that. Yeah, that we really go for it because I think we've already said it before that. But even before we knew it was ending, we had both decided like this is our last year. So we can't do this anymore. We have to. This has to be the year. At the beginning of this year, knowing before we knew everything was ending, but knowing that we had both decided that it was going to be the last year for us, regardless of what happened with the Schmoedown, we were like, okay, this is where we dial it, where we break the dial, trying to go too high. Yeah. And so
nothing is too ridiculous.
We were absolutely like. Insane at the beginning of the year, like combing over things that previously we'd been like, we don't need to know that. Yeah. Now we're like, nope. Now we
put it in.
We do need to know.
We'll reveal our study text, but like we would go through a wave of information, and we were like, no, we don't need that, and we go back and like when like you said like we don't need that. We went back at those ones like put it in. We do. Put it in. We need it.
That's what we were doing at the beginning of the year, and we were just like. Oh my God, study. Holy crap. Oh my God, all the time. Watching nothing but Star Wars, doing nothing but
Star Wars movies.
Nothing but studying. Ridiculous. Because we were both determined to at least... We figured that you would be going through Gold Leader. We figured that I might find myself in a tournament. And we were like, we need to ensure our paths to the end. Yeah. And so we were nuts in the beginning of the year. Yeah. And then... We hear, which did we hear first?
We heard
that Thomas was leaving.
No. We heard that we won't get regular Star Wars matches. We try to get a Star Wars Celebration thing going, and that was months before Celebration. Or no, was it the paywall first? It was. I think we heard that there was going to be very little Star Wars matches.
We heard there would be less Star Wars matches, and then we heard there'd be behind the paywall, and that was kind of like, what? Yeah. All things, if we're being completely transparent, everything's over. Not my favorite move. It kind of, it felt kind of like a slap in the face. Yeah. If I'm being one of the most
exciting divisions last year, and
we all crushed it last year. Yeah. And then to put it in the most niche, specialized division that, admittedly, there are some people out there that are like, I don't even watch Star Wars matches because I don't like Star Wars. That's fine. Yeah. Why? I'm not sure why we would use that kind of a specialty focused division to try to lure people to the Patreon. It just kind of, maybe it was because of how popular and successful it was last year. Maybe that was the thinking behind it. It sucked as a competitor to know that all this hard work was going to be hidden, essentially. you know?
Yeah.
And it's, wasn't my favorite decision, but it was a decision and it was made. So that kind of made it like
and
less matches and people got to pay to see him.
Yeah, so the drive to study and prepare kind of got hit at the knees. It's like, oh well.
I mean, slightly.
Slightly.
I was still like, you know what? At this point, I don't care who sees them and when. I'm still going to do my thing.
Yeah.
Then we heard that Thomas was stepping back,
away. Yeah.
and it was like, whoa, what happens now?
Mm-hmm.
That didn't really change studying because we were still like, well, there's going to be somebody standing in our way regardless.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to get through. I don't care who we got to get through. We're going to get through them.
Yeah.
And so we still kind of kept it up. But then as soon as we heard that things were ending, it was like, oh no.
Yeah.
It almost gave me more of a spark to study because I wanted it to end with us.
Yeah.
But the thing that was really like the thing that just kind of made us go, oh, okay.
Is once we knew
you won your match, I won my match, and it was you versus me for the last match ever. Star Wars match ever.
Yeah.
Then it was kind of like, okay.
I guess I'll look at my notes today.
I'll look at my notes when I get a chance. Because we studied together for so long that
it's like,
there are questions. I would say you could ask me tons of questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say 98% of the time, I will know if you know it or not.
Yeah.
Because we've been studying for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you feel the same way about me.
I think it's
I'm a little bit more of a wild card than you.
I think it's the same because, like I said, like there are some things that are ingrained in my DNA. I think those type of things.
Yeah.
I'd be like, does she know that?
Yeah.
So, well,
no, I think I'm more of a wild card than you.
Yeah, but most of the time I'm like, oh yeah, no, I've heard her say those words before.
99% of the time, I can hear a question and say, yeah, he knows or no, he doesn't.
A great example was that was last year's Spectacular when they asked about what planet are Rathors or no Rancors from. I'm like, oh, I know.
Does she know this?
I was like, does she know about this? Because it's like I know we've talked about it before,
like once
in passing. It's like, does she remember that conversation?
Nope, that sure didn't.
So I was like, I know, because that's something that, like I said, it's kind of ingrained in my DNA. It's like, oh yeah, that's right, because all from what I understand and what I've grown up with, it's like, yeah, they're from here.
Yeah.
And then I was like, do I remember talking about this with her? So
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Because you said you could see my board. Did I write something else and erase it?
I think you wrote Tatooine. Erased it.
I think I wrote Tatooine because I was just kind of like, oh God, what do I do here? I'm not sure if I know this, but we saw them on Tatooine. And then for a second, I'm like, it just doesn't, I don't know what, I don't know what part of my brain awakened and said, right, Dathomir.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but I'm glad
because
I
remember we had a small conversation about like, oh yeah, this is, the Rancors are from Dathomir.
Didn't remember that.
Yeah.
I still can't tell you when that conversation happened.
I remember us talking about it once, very, very briefly in passing. And
it
then
must
it's
have stuck in my subconscious enough.
Yeah. Like Life Zone.
Go figure. I don't know why that stuck in my brain or I can't even tell you the path.
But,
no, I actually do know how I got there. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's stuff like that. Like, does she know that?
Yeah.
It's things like that. So like you know about me, like maybe like 95% of the time I'll be able to like, yeah, she knows that.
Yeah.
Because I remember that's it. One, it's in our deck.
Yeah.
Two, we've had a conversation about it or something like that.
And also leading up to this match, we didn't feel the need to like go digging for new stuff because here's the deal. We studied together from day one, obviously.
Yeah.
I can't hear anything in my headphones anymore. Oh, there I am. I'm back. That's weird. Just went dark for a second. Yeah, so we studied together the entire time. No shock there.
Yeah.
And I feel like people always make the joke, when Alex and Molly were playing each other and like, significant others play each other. It's like, oh, you guys gonna like, withhold information from each other and blah, blah, blah. No.
We share an account. All our notes are shared.
Well, no, because you could always look something up and be like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then not tell you. I would never do that.
Yeah, no, we always tell us like, oh, that's interesting.
Never do that. Even leading up to our match that we knew we were playing each other, there were a couple things and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Did you know this? And that's why we didn't like knock ourselves out trying to find new stuff, add stuff to our cards, blah, blah, blah. Because it's like, if I find something out, I'm going to tell him. So I'm only just expanding both of our knowledge base.
Yeah, or make sure that that I know it. It's like, or confirm with yourself that's something that you knew I already know.
So why am I gonna beat myself up studying super hard
Mhm.
when I know that I'm just going to share everything with you. I would never withhold anything from you like that.
Yeah, so going into this match was just kind of like the most relaxed, but like the closer it got, it was
The more
like
nervous
the
we
more
got.
nervous we got. And we'll talk more about that.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, the biggest thing was knowing it was ending.
mhm. And knowing
And
who
then
it was against.
the gigantic cherry on top was knowing it was you versus me in the end.
Mhm.
That's when foot on gas kind of went, hey, okay. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll have tons to talk about once the match drops.
Yeah. So
We'll have a plethora.
yeah, so that's the history leading into this match. Like,
I mean, there's a lot more history.
there's a
than
lot.
that.
Yeah. Well,
We didn't really even talk
in a
much
nut-
history.
yeah,
But
in a nutshell, that's how we got to this point. Yeah, because like I said before, like the title picture for the entire season for Star Wars was, you okay?
yeah, my eyelashes are like tied together. Doesn't that ever happen to you? Your corner lashes just get like
Sometimes.
intertwined around each other, and you're like,
No, but like, from the very beginning of the season, for the most part, Star Wars has been like very laid out. It's like this who plays who. It felt like a lot like last season, where it's like we already know who plays who,
yeah.
and blah yada yada yada. It's just circumstances change throughout the season, but all in all, it's like, yep, this is everybody called it like, oh, I wonder what the Star Wars match is going to be at Spectacular. Everybody already knows what, if you were paying attention,
Yeah.
you already knew what it was going to be.
I think there were some people that were kind of hoping that it would be like a 3-way or a 5-way or something, but it's like you forget the fact that
Yeah.
most of us don't live in LA.
Mhm.
It's a matter of logistically, how do you get people? Because another spoiler alert, we didn't get flown out for Spectacular. We flew ourselves out for Spectacular.
Yeah.
That was a conscious decision that we made
Yeah.
because we didn't want the last match
Yeah.
to be digital.
Yeah, full transparency. The offer was on the table. Like, you guys can make this digital if you want, save a couple of bucks. Like, no, if
It's like,
this is the last match ever, this is the last Spectacular. This is my first Spectacular I'm playing at.
yeah.
You bet your ass I'm gonna be there for.
We'll bite the
there,
bullet
yeah.
and we'll fly ourselves out there because that's how it means that much to us.
Yeah.
There's no way that we could end this against each other digitally.
And how would that
Lame.
fit into the Spectacular?
That'd be lame.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you think about the fact that, well, you want Alex to be in the match, how's Alex gonna get there?
Yeah.
Hey, you want Thomas to be in the match? How's Thomas gonna get there?
Yeah.
Because if they flew them out and not me, I'd be pissed. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot more to it than just, oh, why didn't you just? So, because I know there were some people that were hoping like, oh, hopefully
Or
Alex comes
Alex
back.
goat
Hopefully
match.
Thomas comes back.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But sorry,
Yeah.
they didn't.
Yeah, and for the most part, a lot of these matches, especially the title matches, were GOAT matches. You can essentially say that they're GOAT matches, basically, especially the title match.
Title IG.
Title IG, you can sort of see as a GOAT match, even though
Teams-ish.
teams-ish, singles definitely a
Definitely.
GOAT match. But yeah, I mean, how you spin it, like you can sort of see Star Wars as a GOAT match, sort of
Halfway.
halfway, like because there's
This half.
yeah, because there are people out there saying like, if I were to win, would I be the lone man standing on the top of the mountain? And that's the conversation we can
There's
have.
a lot of conversations to be had either way.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I wouldn't use that to define our match unless you were just talking about one half of the match.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the
Because
Star Wars.
I've only played. You don't get to play a season and a half and be in that conversation.
well, 2 seasons. It's a full season. I mean, you played once.
You don't get to just drop in and be in the GOAT conversation. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, we'll have
There's
we'll
there's
we'll
a lot
talk
of things to talk
We'll,
about.
we'll talk about that more when that match airs.
there's
and
a
we'll talk
lot
about
of
it.
there's a lot of shit to talk about.
And that's why we're dedicating one show to our
I mean,
match.
look, how long have we already gone around
Almost.
talking bullshit about this match? We haven't even really talked about the lead up. We've just been talking about stuff about it.
But yeah, so that's the Star Wars match leading into Spectacular. Now let's jump over to the other specialty division with the IG. There is
The
actually
Iggies.
a lot. Yeah,
The IGs.
The IGs. The Instagrams.
What
But-
a millennial.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so there are a lot of question marks leading around this one. Like, one, why is it a 4-way? But and why not and the absence of somebody else that's not there. So for this card we have all former champions and a current champion.
Right.
So Amazing Mark Hanopic, Chandra the Chosen Dandapani, Kevin the Smash Smets,
Smash him.
and the current reigning IG champion in Robert the Spider Parker.
Hell yeah.
And the biggest question mark surrounding him, this one, I would say, is where's Mike Kalinowski?
That's absolutely fair.
So,
but do you really think that Christian was like, Mike Kalinowski,
Yeah.
IG?
yeah.
Don't you think that there'd be a reason that Mike's not there?
He's sick with COVID.
Right. Yeah, we were talking.
That's the
Shannon was
biggest-
there, and
yeah.
she was like, he's still getting over his stuff, and he's not well enough to be here.
So it's a 4-way instead of a fatal 5-way.
But I'm not
And-
even.
What?
Like, I thought that I saw some stuff out there that, is not going to be in the match. It would be more of on the desk kind of thing. So it's not that the people within the match changed at the last minute. It was more of an announcer change at the last minute. I know that it was kind of vaguely mentioned.
That he didn't want to play or something?
No, that he wasn't going to.
He wasn't going to play and he was going to be on the desk?
Right.
I mean, if that would have happened, there's still question marks would be is like, why isn't he playing?
Right.
So,
and maybe it was the kind of thing where he wasn't feeling well and then he found out he had COVID or something.
Yeah.
I don't freaking know. But I don't. People are asking. So many people were talking about Mike not playing. Oh my God. Like it was a conscious decision to leave him out.
yeah. No, I imagine the entire intention was to have him in there. For one,
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you have the GOAT of the IG division not play in the final IG match for the title?
He's incredible.
Yeah.
I hesitate to use this word too much because I feel it's so overused nowadays, but he's iconic in the IG division.
Yeah, let's say he didn't want to play. I completely agree, understand why he wouldn't. The man's exhausted. I mean, come on.
He plays in 3 divisions.
He plays in 3 divisions. He just the amount of time prepping for a title match, regardless against anybody, is taxing. But then on top of that, you could compete against 4 other people, 4 other former champions, and the current champion, 3 other former champions, and one is that is currently a champion. That's got to be like, oh, why would I do that to myself? If I was Mike at that point too, I'd be like, maybe not. You know what I mean? I'd be so tired of because the idea of going in a title match against 4 other people,
that wouldn't be fun.
That would not be fun. And he's already said if he would have played and lost it, I still would have been like, no, Mike is still the man on the mountaintop.
Yeah.
When it comes to IG, 3-time champion, 3-time defending, transformed the division, went by introducing a tournament. Went back in the anarchy days, story wise, he's the one responsible for the tournament. I mean, regardless if he played or not, I would still say that. So,
but fact of the matter is, end of the day, he was sick.
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there, and so yeah, it's not like Christian just went, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I don't need Mike in this match.
Yeah.
Mike, it's not even that great at IG. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Come on.
Yeah.
Of course, if the cards had
fallen differently,
if things lined up differently, yeah, of course he
he's
would have
gonna be in the
played.
match.
Obviously, there's a reason behind why he wasn't playing. Jesus Christ, people.
Yeah.
So no, we've got 4
Titans of the division. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The first female IG champion.
Mm-hmm.
The only on the desk on the card at this moment, and the only person to have defended the IG title out of all 4 of them, Chandra Dondapani.
Mm-hmm.
The current champion, Robert Parker, and then the legend of Kevin Smets.
Yeah.
Coming back from fighting cancer to win
2-time champion, right?
2-time champion, yeah. And then he lost to Parker. So this card is massive.
Hell yeah.
So that's why I'm saying the IG could be looked at as the GOAT match.
Absolutely, I think so. It's just, it is a shame that Mike's not there, considering that a lot of people would consider him to be the GOAT of the division. Mm-hmm. But, if the circumstances were that he couldn't be there, what more could you ask for than these 4 people?
Mm-hmm.
So, it was a great match. Very different tone from what you're used to as far as intensity. It's a great match.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much all these matches are. It's very laid back. I think that there's very little character work, and there is some character work, but there's not a huge push for it in these matches.
It felt like a celebration of the division.
Yeah.
And it is
And
not
that's-
to say that they didn't put up an effort. Like they still went hard.
Oh yeah, and
I don't think any of us really know how to not go hard when it comes to the trivia.
Oh yeah, and I think that's something you should take away.
Me?
That's me.
Oh, so popular.
But like, I think that's what you should look at this IG match is celebrating the division with 4 of the best to ever play in the division, and like either way, when regardless of the outcome, you can have Mara becoming a 3-time champion. You can have actually, yeah. So whoever came out
twice, yeah,
yeah.
right.
So coming out of this match, whoever would win this match, if Parker is to defend it, he gets the defense in the third person to have defended the title after winning it. Yeah.
Everybody else would have become
a 3-time champion. Yeah.
Chandru too?
Yeah, Chandru's sorry Chandru. He would have been a 2-time champion. Because he won it off of Mara?
He's not watching.
He won it off of Mara and then defended against Chance. Yeah?
Don't ask me.
Yes. And then, yeah. So he would become a 2-time champion. Mara would become a 3-time champion. Smets, if he's to win it, would become a 3-time champion.
Mm-hmm.
And then if Parker won, he gets his defense.
Right.
So this is a big match for regardless who wins.
Pretty high stakes for all 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And the stories that all 4 of them have had, the histories of their careers coming into this match.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord. They've all got such a wonderful story behind them. Like, I mean, Mara, you got your first female champion. She has had some historic matches. She is incredible at this game. Such an intelligent, incredibly smart woman. And you got Chandru, same, incredibly smart dude. Like, oh my gosh. But apart from that, like he's done some of the most iconic character work that we've seen in the IG division, and him scrapping his way to getting that title and doing it while making people love to hate him.
Yeah.
And you got Smets, goes without saying, Smets' journey. I mean, first of all, man got turned away.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Some people might have just taken that and been like, well, never mind.
Yeah.
And just never even tried again. Kevin Smets, different breed.
Yeah. Turned to the fan leagues, made a name for himself, and then found his way back to the big show.
And it's speaking of fan leagues, talking about, Kevin and Robert, and they play each other in the fan league.
Yeah.
But like Smets got turned away. Then he, won his title, and then he, real life, battled through cancer. My God, dude is a beast. He's a machine. And now he's looking to regain his title for the 3rd time. And then you got Robert Parker started in the fan leagues. Always lived in Kevin's shadow.
Came in as the new
hotness.
New hotness, expected to go straight to the title. Hit several road bumps on the way there, then finally finds his way to a title match and wins it off of Kevin Smets. And yeah.
But what a great story. It is a more interesting story, I think, when somebody like a Kevin or a Robert, they run into roadblocks. I mean, you whether you like them or not, I feel like a lot of people just inherently root for the fight. Yeah. The fact that you get knocked down, but you get back up and you keep on going.
Not that to say that the undefeated people that come in and just blaze a trail isn't a fun, interesting story.
No, that's it's a fun story. I think it's
a great runs.
Absolutely. And there's nothing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But you always like to see somebody fight. You never want to see somebody get knocked down, but when you see them get back up again and fight back and be successful in their fight, it's like, hell yeah, get them.
Yeah.
So these 2 guys definitely have that kind of a story behind them. So, it's going to be
like we don't know the outcome.
It's going to be a great one, guys. But it's a great match. And if Mike can't be there for unforeseen circumstances,
he's still,
and also to be fixated on Mike, which I know, huge deal that he's not there. I get it. It is. He's amazing. We all love him. Of course.
Yeah.
But let's also not
diminish
the efforts, knowledge, and accomplishments of the 4 people that are in the match by being so butthurt about Mike not being in the match. Of course, we all wanted Mike to be there. I'm sure Mike wanted to be there. But these are the 4 people we got, and these 4 people have given blood, sweat, and tears to this game.
Yeah.
So don't let one person's absence overshadow these 4 people's presence.
Yeah.
So.
And also, I think people might be saying, "Oh, if Mike can't play, wasn't Rachel play?" It's like she's already playing in the match is spectacular.
Yeah, and I don't think they wanted any one person to play more than one match.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rachel already had, and also I don't think IG is the kind of match that you just kind of hop into unless you've been studying.
I think she's been on record saying like, "Oh yeah, if I were to jump into IG now, different story." Because like when she was, in IG, it was very select few movies. Now it's like 400 movies or something like that.
Could you imagine with Star Wars? Oh, I've been out of the game for a couple of years. Let me just hop back in.
Yeah, but
you don't just hop back in.
Put Sam Witwer against in the GOAT match is spectacular.
That's something else I want to talk about. The Sam Witwer conversation that just won't go away.
We'll talk about it.
If there's one thing that I'm grateful for about the Schmoedown ending, it's that I'll never have to hear people bellyache about not getting Damon Witwer again.
Is it that time of year?
I'm so excited that I never have to hear anybody bitch about that anymore. But yeah, no, it would have been great to see Rachel, but it's not something you just hop back into.
Yeah.
And also she did already have another match lined up.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry.
Whoops. All berries.
All berries.
Yeah. So those are the specialty matches heading into Spectacular, which we are, 2 weeks away?
Yes.
This week and the next week?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
The time is just... Yeah. Who's got the time?
Who's got the time?
It is just flying.
You gotta get ready for spooky season.
I like spooky season, even though I'm not a spooky girl, really. I feel like deep down I want to be, but I just can't because I get scared. So, can't watch too many scary movies. Otherwise I get scared and I have to have the lights on and pet my dog to make me feel safe again.
So next week we'll be diving into the other title matches with teams and wondering who King Khan's players partners going to be. Have that conversation.
Who is he going to play with?
Who is he going to play with? And then also
I have no idea.
The singles title match, which is the GOAT of all GOAT matches, Sam Levine versus Dangerous Dan Murrell.
Yeah.
So we'll go touch on it based on those.
Two of the best to ever do it, baby.
Mm-hmm. So with that, we'll go ahead and end this episode here. Star Wars competitor Nicki Dimalanta, number one contender Star Wars competitor Nicki Dimalanta. Oh. Where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Dimmy, DIMMMYYY.
As for me, also on Twitter at Drew Dimalanta, DIMALANTA, and on TikTok and Instagram at Rogue Leader Drew. So close to 10,000. I saw you, Justin Square, seeing if I'll do a backflip again when I hit 10,000.
I'm not trying to take another trip to the hospital.
Maybe.
Maybe after a warm bath and a lot of stretching.
A lot of stretching.
I gotta have Epsom salt on hand.
When we get closer, when I'm reaching like 9,800, maybe I'll start
stretching
and practicing
again
for backflip. I'm sure it's all muscle memory, right?
If you do this, you got to stretch a lot.
Yeah.
Because you can drive yourself.
It's a lot of core strength. So I got to do some sit-ups.
So you got to start working out with me. Thank you, Justin. Thank you. I've been trying to get him back working out with me for a long time now. So if we hold him to this, maybe he'll actually do there's a YouTube ab workout that I do, which is pretty, it's tiring.
Yeah.
It's only 10 minutes long though, but it's pretty good intensity, 10 minutes, I would say.
Yeah.
It's only 10 minutes.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up.
Maybe he needs to do that with me so he can get his core strength up so that maybe he can backflip again one day. How many years has it been since you've done a backflip?
Oh, boy.
Were we still in college?
10 plus years.
Yikes. Okay, well, guess you got to work out with me.
Listen to us on audio form. Please follow the feed and rate us.
And if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell icon in the lower right-hand corner to see when we do things on the YouTube.
So we'll, of course, be rad and going rogue when we end the show. Speaking of ending the show, thank you for joining us on this episode of Beyond the Schmoedown. We'll see you guys next time.